Hey, good afternoon, everyone. The agenda here, this is what we're going to cover. How to keep your home safe from fires, how to ensure your home is sound from natural disasters, how to keep your home secure from theft, how to keep your home secure from injuries. We'll do the Q&A, and we'll move on. We're going to discuss each of these potential safety and security concerns with your home. Fire is a huge source of injury, as are natural disasters, theft, and just simple preventative safety measures that are often overlooked. How to keep your home safe regarding fires. Almost 3 out of 5, it's like 60% of reported home fire deaths in 2007 through 2011 actually resulted from fires in homes that did not have smoke alarms or no working smoke alarms. Working smoke alarms can cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. That's a pretty big number when you think about it. Fires that are considered large enough to activate a smoke alarm, the hardwired alarms operated 93% of the time, while the battery-powered alarms only operated 79% of the time. When smoke alarms fail to operate, it's usually because batteries are missing, disconnected, or dead. I know doing home inspections, this is something that I'm constantly going up against. Most of the time, the smoke detectors don't work. Another thing that's 99% of the time I don't see are the anti-tip brackets. You don't want to forget to install the anti-tip bracket. That's on your range or your stove. It's simple and effective. It pretty much ensures that children or others don't accidentally tip the stove over. Oftentimes manufacturers will send the brackets to you at no charge, and it really makes a difference. We're going to continue with fire. The U.S. fire departments responded to an estimated annual average of well over 155,000 cooking-related fires between 2007 and 2011. And that resulted in 400 civilian deaths, over 5,000 civilian injuries, and about $850 million in direct damage. Those are big numbers. Out of those fires, almost 2 of every 5 home fires started in the kitchen. And that's usually towards unattended cooking at 34%. 2/3 of home cooking fires started with ignition of food or other cooking materials. Ranges accounted for 57% of home cooking fire incidences. Ovens accounted for 16%. Children under 5 face a higher risk of non-fire burns associated with cooking and hot food and drinks than being burned in a cooking fire. So again, I really, those are 2 of the things I really strive for, are the anti-tip brackets and smoke alarms. You always want to have an escape plan. You want more than one way to get out of the house. You never know where the fire is going to be. As you can see with the little diagram here, exit out the front door, windows in the kitchen, the living room, back doors, garages, wherever it may be. And just having a simple fire escape plan can serve multiple purposes for evacuation. Prep plan and you'll be ready. Make sure that the whole family is aware of it. As silly as it may sound, have your fire drill, just like they do in schools. We're going to move on to some steps that you can take towards natural disasters. Just preparing your home for a wide variety of natural disasters can be an arduous task. First, consider the most common type of natural disaster that occurs in your area. Then plan and prep accordingly. FEMA has declared that everyone lives in a flood zone. It just depends on whether you're in a high, mid, or low risk area. You can find out more. Just go to www.floodsmart.gov. You can estimate your potential flooding damage with an interactive tool that they have on that website. In 2013, 9 natural disasters accounted for nearly $1 billion each. Natural disasters including flooding, tornadoes, severe weather, and wildfires, the impact is huge. So you should ask yourself, what can I do to prep my home? And these are all good things, too, to pass along to your clients. The more you know, the better they feel. First is safety when it comes to the natural disasters. Ensure your family knows that safety evacuation plan that I mentioned earlier. Second is to know which disasters are common for your area. Flooding is common almost everywhere, and flash floods are a large source of damage in the U.S. For wind-related disaster-prone areas, you should check your windows for the mph, miles per hour, of wind that they can safely sustain. Check your roof to ensure it's up to par with local building codes and is not unnecessarily unsafe. Sometimes you get a good guy who's a roofer, and they'll come out and do this for next to nothing. They usually don't do it for free, but they don't hit you for a lot. You can always call us. One of our inspectors come out and take a look and give you an approximate age, but it's definitely something you want to look at. On the interior, there's also issues that you want to make sure that things are okay. You want to check to see if cabinet doors have secure latches. This will help keep harmful chemicals or plates and other items from little kids, little children, but also in the unfortunate event of a tornado or hurricane where your home's outer walls are breached. It should help prevent other damage from flying objects such as plates, pans, etc. to other homes. One of the things I say, being down here in South Florida, we know hurricanes, we know them well. And even though you may have impact-rated glass on your home, I always suggest that you stick in some type of storm panel or accordion shutter. Glass can still break, and you thought they were expensive to have them installed, they're really expensive to have them fixed. So even though you've got the impact-rated stuff, let's think about covering those as well. Also, if you have gas appliances, you want to check if the fittings are flexible. This helps prevent the gas leaks if damage is to occur. It's also important to know where your safety shutoff valve is. You want to check the outside gas meter for the valve. By default, it should automatically shut off if there's a major leak detected, but regardless, it's helpful to know. For power outages and storms, it can help to have lighting sticks. You can pick these up at your local, Target, Walmart, dollar store. They're cheap. It's what the kids always have at Halloween, the little Kylum light sticks. However, you can always go for longer-term preparedness. You can go to a hardware store. They have better safety lights. I know we've got a couple little battery-operated ones. They look like the old-style Coleman lights, but they're little LED. They take a couple AA or AAA batteries, and they can last up to 12 hours and easily stored. We're going to move on to theft and burglary. Look at those numbers up there on the screen, and it's pretty scary. According to the Washington Post article in 2007, there's a burglary nearly every 15 seconds, mostly occurring between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., obviously when you're away from home. Once inside, the burglar spends between 8 and 12 minutes doing whatever he or she pleases. Again, this hits close to home for me. We got hit twice in 7 months. And I've got an alarm on my house, the whole 9 yards, and they still do what they want because they know that they've got time. Some of the steps that we can take to avoid these things, some of these things are listed here up on the screen. The typical burglar is a male teen in your neighborhood. Having simple deterrence is important to ward off these common burglars. Usually it takes about 60 seconds to break into a home. Anything more than that greatly deters the potential burglar. So having a good solid door is the first step of prevention, but also consider the door frames as well. They need to be equally as strong. Now you can have this nice stout door, but if your door frames are deteriorated or weak, it's nothing to kick it in if they really want to get in. It's a quick way to do it. I know we all want to make our homes nice. We want nice landscaping, we want it all to look good, but try not to make your home enticing. Try and keep valuables out of sight. They always say out of sight, out of mind. If you live in a high crime area, having your valuables engraved with a unique identifier may be an option to retrieve them. If they are stolen, you can call your local fire department or police department, and they can help you with the process. There's also a product out there that I've seen on the news locally down here quite often. Cities are pushing it. I believe it's called Smart Water. You put a little spot or you put your initial on something, let's say your computer, and the police officers, they go to the pawn shop or they catch somebody with some equipment, they can run a black light over it, and it'll be able to identify it. I think it lasts for up to 5 years. There's also another Washington Post article that stated that homes without alarm systems are 3 times as likely to be broken into. Rather than actually purchasing an alarm system, sometimes just using signs such as "Beware of Dog" and "This home is protected by whichever security company" will help deter would-be thieves. A lot of times they'll just walk up and see the sign in the front saying that there's an alarm system here, and they'll move on. And all in all, it's just important to remember to take a comprehensive approach and do what's best for you in your neighborhood. In order of the percentage of burglaries, thieves enter through the front door first. First floor windows, and then the back door mostly. Obviously, focusing on these areas of the home is very important. Make sure these are always locked or not easy to break into whatsoever. You may also consider placing maybe an old webcam outside just to act as a deterrent. So we're going to go on to injuries in the home. Today's show had a story over the almost 2 decades of reports show that TV-related injuries for children under 18 numbered 17,000. You don't think of your TV being a dangerous thing. Stats show that nearly once every 3 weeks a child's dying from a TV falling on them. And this is partially due to the number of TVs increasing in U.S. homes. Anytime I do a home inspection, there's almost a TV in every room practically. Children under the age of 5 were most at risk, with 64% of injuries partially due to children playing near TVs and causing them to fall, but also because they cannot get out of the way quickly enough. Despite the weight differences in flat screens from old ray tubes, the injuries have continued. There was an article with U.S. News in a world report that more than 18,000 Americans die every year from accidental injuries. Just a few little bullet points here. The home is the second most common place for injury. Cars are number 1. Falling deaths claim 6,000 lives every year. It's a good idea to install grab bars, non-slip mats and pads in bathrooms, kitchens, and other areas where high chances of water and slippage is prevalent. Poisoning, that's a big one. Poisoning takes 5,000 lives every year. Sounds silly, but people may be on a prescription drug, get a cold, take a decongestant, and then add a drink. The combination oftentimes is deadly. Be sure to consult the labels and strictly follow them. And it says no alcohol, please no alcohol. Down here, pools are very prevalent. Drowning takes 800 lives a year. And I don't know if you know, but children can drown in as little as 2 inches of water. With a pool, ensure it follows all your local safety codes and supervise your children. Don't just let them go. Airway obstruction is another one. It takes about 1,000 lives a year. Keep your eyes peeled. Look for small objects, coins, toys, which can easily get ingested, cause suffocation or injury. Several years ago, when we had our first child, I had a friend tell me, just get down and crawl on the ground as if you were a kid and look around. Everything you see down there is a potential safety hazard. All the outlets, make sure they're plugged in. Any toys that you see on there, they're going to find them because they're curious. Ultimately, this underscores the point that creating safety in your home may be in the most unlikeliest of places, such as the family room with a TV, or in the kitchen with an anti-tip bracket. Just take a comprehensive look at your home by following these tips that I gave you today and guidance to ensure it's safe, sound, and secure.